The brutal truth nobody tells men is women usually lose attraction before conversations even actually begin. Not because you looked nervous, awkward, broke, or physically unattractive standing beside her socially yesterday night. She lost attraction because your conversation subconsciously felt emotionally identical every other guy immediately afterward. And once women emotionally categorize you as predictable, escaping friend zone becomes nearly impossible afterward, naturally, forever. That is why some men barely speak, yet somehow leave women obsessively thinking about them afterward, while other men talk non-stop, still watching attraction slowly die directly front them socially every weekend. Most guys believe running out things saying destroys attraction, but honestly, that problem means absolutely nothing. The real problem is much darker, and almost every modern man unknowingly suffers from it. Most men talk women like nervous salesmen desperately pitching themselves, hoping eventually get chosen romantically afterward. They carefully monitor every sentence, terrified, sounding weird, awkward, unattractive, emotionally intense, or overly confident there. And ironically, that fear completely destroys chemistry faster than awkward silence ever realistically could socially afterward. Because attraction never grows through perfect logical conversations, women politely tolerate every single day anyway. Attraction grows through emotional tension, unpredictability, excitement, playful energy, and psychological stimulation instead, naturally afterward. Women do not emotionally remember conversations sounding technically impressive, intellectually deep, or socially polished afterward consistently. They remember conversations making them feel emotionally alive, dangerously curious, and strangely addicted afterward instead. That is why average-looking men constantly attract beautiful women despite lacking traditional dating advantages outwardly. Because emotionally magnetic men understand something most guys completely fail understanding about female psychology today. Women experience conversations emotionally first and logically second during attraction interactions, naturally, afterward constantly, meaning your emotional energy matters infinitely more than perfectly crafted conversational material during interactions afterward consistently. And once you finally understand that dating suddenly starts feeling completely different emotionally afterward, naturally forever, because you stop trying to impress women and start creating emotional experiences women genuinely crave instead. That single mindset shift alone instantly separates you from almost every modern man socially afterward immediately. Most guys destroy attraction, accidentally turning conversations into emotionally exhausting interview sessions with women constantly. Where do you work? What music interests you? Where did you grow up originally? Exactly. Question after question after question until chemistry slowly suffocates underneath politeness. Completely. Afterward, emotionally, there. Women notice this instantly because emotionally flat conversations all sound painfully identical. Nowadays, everywhere, socially. It feels less like flirting and more like corporate networking during uncomfortable office holiday parties. And the craziest part is, most men genuinely believe they sound socially attractive there too. But confidence never sounds rushed, emotionally disconnected, robotic, approval-seeking, or terrified silence appears unexpectedly afterward. Real confidence sounds playful, relaxed, emotionally expressive, and comfortable creating spontaneous conversational moments naturally, afterward, consistently. That is why one tiny conversational adjustment completely changes attraction almost instantly around women socially. Instead, immediately asking another predictable question, emotionally react first, using playful statements afterward naturally instead. She mentions loving cats, and instead, interviewing her, simply tease her playfully afterward, emotionally instead. You smile, saying, honestly, you definitely seem emotionally capable ruining furniture for tiny creatures already. Now, suddenly, she feels personality tension, spontaneity, and playful masculine energy underneath your words naturally afterward. Because statements reveal confidence, while endless questions subconsciously reveal emotional approval seeking, During interactions afterward, that tiny shift alone instantly makes conversations feel dramatically more flirtatious and emotionally stimulating afterward naturally. And psychologically, emotional unpredictability activates stronger dopamine responses inside human social interactions naturally, afterward, constantly. Meaning women subconsciously feel more emotionally excited whenever conversations stop feeling painfully repetitive, afterward, consistently. But escaping interview mode only creates curiosity, not the addictive attraction women secretly crave emotionally afterward. Because once conversations finally feel comfortable, most men immediately make another devastating mistake afterward naturally. They start playing emotionally safe around attractive women, terrified, ruining chemistry accidentally during interactions afterward constantly. Suddenly, every response becomes overly agreeable, filtered, polite, emotionally careful, and painfully predictable afterward naturally. And ironically, that exact behavior slowly kills attraction they spent entire conversations building previously, afterward, emotionally. Because women rarely remember men making them feel emotionally safe, boring, and completely predictable afterward, naturally. They remember men creating playful tension, emotional challenge, mystery, and exciting conversational unpredictability afterward instead. Consistently. That does not mean acting arrogant, toxic, manipulative, emotionally unavailable, or disrespectful toward women. Obviously, ever. It simply means stop behaving like female approval determines your emotional value internally, afterward, constantly, anymore. For example, she mentions loving astrology, crystals, and spiritual energy during your late conversation together casually. Most guys instantly agree, hoping protect chemistry. Instead, creating emotional tension afterward. Naturally, during interactions instead, you could smirk saying, "Honestly, that sounds dangerously expensive." During relationship arguments already there naturally. Now suddenly she feels challenged emotionally, while still sensing flirtatious, playful energy underneath. Afterward, constantly, constantly. That tiny emotional push immediately changes conversational dynamics between both people interacting socially afterward, dramatically. There, because attraction grows strongest whenever emotional investment starts becoming mutual during conversations. Afterward, naturally, consistently. And once women emotionally invest, something powerful suddenly starts happening underneath conversations afterward, psychologically, there. She stops hearing your words logically and starts emotionally experiencing your presence instead. Afterward, naturally, constantly. That is exactly where emotionally intelligent men separate themselves from every other guy socially afterward completely. Most men discuss facts, while emotionally magnetic men discuss feelings hidden underneath experiences instead. Afterward, naturally. She talks about traveling, and most guys ask destinations, budgets, hotels, airlines, and vacation recommendations afterward. Emotionally perceptive men notice deeper emotional patterns, hiding underneath stories women casually share afterward naturally instead. You quietly say, "Honestly, you seem addicted, chasing feelings, not actual places. Emotionally, throughout life, constantly." Then continue saying, "Stability probably scares you whenever life starts feeling emotionally repetitive." Afterward, naturally there. That single observation instantly changes the emotional temperature inside conversations between both people afterward dramatically, completely. Because suddenly she feels emotionally understood, instead, merely socially entertained during another ordinary interaction afterward naturally. And neuroscience actually shows emotional recognition activates powerful bonding responses inside human relationships naturally afterward constantly. Meaning people emotionally trust individuals understanding hidden feelings faster than those understanding surface information instead. That is why emotionally perceptive men often feel unforgettable despite lacking traditional, perfect dating advantages outwardly. Women remember how deeply somebody emotionally understood them long after conversations completely ended afterward, internally too. But understanding women emotionally still means nothing if your own energy feels emotionally lifeless afterward constantly. One massive mistake destroys attraction faster than awkward silence ever realistically could during conversations afterward. Most men suppress excitement, trying desperately appear cool, mysterious, emotionally detached, and socially high status constantly. But emotionally dead energy never creates chemistry, regardless how attractive somebody appears outwardly. Afterward, naturally. There. Women are naturally drawn toward emotional energy because emotions create psychological stimulation during interactions afterward, constantly. That is why passionate men instantly feel dramatically more magnetic compared to emotionally guarded men socially everywhere. When somebody discusses passions genuinely, their voice changes, body language shifts, and emotional intensity skyrockets afterward. Suddenly, ordinary topics feel emotionally alive because authentic enthusiasm transfers naturally between human beings. Afterward, constantly. And neuroscience actually calls this emotional contagion, where feelings unconsciously spread during interactions afterward, naturally, socially. Meaning your emotional state directly influences how women subconsciously experience conversations with you afterward, internally too. If you feel emotionally flat, women subconsciously start feeling emotionally flat around you afterward, naturally, too. But when women feel adventurous, playful, emotionally alive, and deeply stimulated around your presence, constantly afterward, something extremely powerful starts happening psychologically underneath every interaction, without conscious awareness afterward, naturally there. Women subconsciously attach those positive emotional states directly toward whoever created those feelings afterward, consistently, naturally. That is why emotionally stimulating men constantly feel unforgettable despite saying objectively ordinary conversational things afterward. They create emotional experiences women unconsciously crave, escaping repetitive, emotionally numb modern lifestyles. Afterward, constantly. And once women consistently feel more alive around you than everyone else emotionally afterward, naturally, you never truly run out things saying, because attraction starts carrying conversations automatically afterward instead, naturally. If this video completely changed how you understand attraction and female psychology today, emotionally afterward, then the next video might completely change how women start emotionally responding toward you afterward consistently.